Hello, beautiful soul. Welcome back to the Awakening Her podcast. How are you doing today, my friend? I am so happy you're here. Welcome back. Unless this is your first time, and then welcome here. And hello, hi. My name is Talia Joy. I am so excited you're here. And today we are talking about something that every single one of us experiences, and that is resistance. So, as we get into the episode, I'm of course going to break down what resistance is from this lens, what we're talking about, what we mean, what people mean when they say, like, I'm experiencing so much resistance in maybe it's manifesting money or in your day or in your goals or in your health or whatever. Exactly what we're talking about. And I'm not just talking about big life shattering resistance, like your whole world collapsing, although, hello, hi, I've been going through that as well. I'm talking about the little things and the big things, like when your technology is crashing. Hello, hi, I'm also going through that. This is actually hilarious. And I will be very honest with you guys throughout this episode, but I've tried to record this episode so many times and there's been so much resistance from technology. I'll explain in a second, like incredible series of events that do not allow me to record. Or yesterday, finally, after everything got ironed out, I tried to record and I was just not in it. My energy was not in it. I kept fumbling. I felt awkward. I felt off. And if I've learned one thing about business, it's that you guys have maybe heard me say this before. I just refuse to do something if my energy is way off, especially what I do, right? Like in business and in life, sometimes I need to do something, even though like, oh, I just want to go lay in the sun, but I got to do this thing or finish this email. Sure. But when my energy is off and I'm finding myself recording and then stopping and then going blah, 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 and then hitting record again and then being like, oh, I'm not even behind this. It was so funny because yesterday that was me. And I was like, I am in so much resistance trying to record an episode about resistance, which sometimes it's good to be in something you're talking about, but in other times it just was not working. So anyway, so it's the big things, but it's also the little things. Or maybe when you're getting ready to launch something, or like I was, record something, and just every single thing is going wrong, or when you don't get the job you wanted, or when life just keeps saying nope, when you're begging for a yes, when you're going after something and life keeps going like basically shutting it down. So as I said, I've been living this lately, and as we move through today's episode, I'm going to share some very real life examples from my own world, probably from this past week, month, couple of months. I have really been going through it. Been through the highs and lows, slowly crawling my way out, I guess you'll say. I have been talking about it on the show if you're curious what I'm talking about a few episodes ago. I mean, I've been dripping it into these recent ones, but the one talking about why I was burnt out, that's just a few episodes ago. I went more in depth, but it's healing pains, it's growing pains, it's what the heck am I doing with my life and what really brings me joy pains. It's those things that we go through as we are on this self-growth and awakening experience. So I'm going to share some real life examples about resistance that I've been going through, and also what resistance is here to teach you. How to discern, is life telling me to not do this? Or do I need to persevere? Do I need to switch up my energy? Like how we can read life. Because I've said it before here, that's what I really think that benefits us most. That's as a human design reflector and just the way I process life. That's what I'm always doing is reading life. Like what is life showing me? What works more easily? What doesn't work easily, right? What lights me up? What feels like a big no constrictive feeling in my body? Learning life rather than forcing life to do what you want. I believe, especially on the awakening and healing and self-growth journey, things pan out way better when we learn to read life, when we learn to go with what life is showing us. So again, we're going to talk about all of this and resistance, and going to be sharing some real life examples. And at the very end of the episode, I'm going to talk to you about how to release resistance instantly. And I'm not just saying that to try to be like catchy. It's actually in the moment, releasing all the resistance so that you can be a clear channel for solutions, for yourself to move through this, to have clarity, to switch up your energy or your strategy or whatever it is going on. So I'm going to teach you how to release that. So this episode is just going to be good. It's going to be all about resistance, how to discern what's going on with it, how to move through it, and bring yourself back to center. So I'm really excited. I think that's about it right now. Actually, before we dive in, I just want to say that for this, in this podcast, on this podcast, for the last 4 years, it's been more than 4 years, I have put out 2 episodes a week for more than 4 years. And at the time of recording this and when this is uploaded, I will have not put out an episode in close to 2 weeks, almost. And this is because I have been going through a lot behind the scenes. And there's a lot of physical things, as in my kids are home from school for the summer. And any of you parents or anyone that can imagine when you go from having all of this time to all of a sudden kids and they've got different camps going on or we're just home with them, I just have not had the space to be recording. I've been putting all my work time energy into my one-on-one clients, into the retreat and other things that I have going on. So I have been away a little bit from here. But as I explained in those previous episodes about burnout, I'm really in this phase of hardcore putting my needs first, because I have been going through what feels like a good 5 to 7 year slow burnout, where I didn't realize that all these big goals and all this stuff I'm doing and all these things, and then raising children and doing all this stuff and having, like my quote unquote real life, being a wife, being a friend, all the regular stuff and the finances and whatever, everything that's been on my plate and that I've been moving through in the last long time, I didn't realize that it was not sustainable. I didn't realize how I was letting my own needs slip because I have so many dreams. I have so many ambitions. I'm here to make a difference in the world. And what I really realized straight up is I have been pouring out way more energy than what I can sustain. Between my business, my family, as I said, my husband, my own self, my health, my me time, I need space right now. And this has been something that is self-created. It's my journey of healing. It's my journey of learning that my needs matter. But I cannot put out more than what is able to be replenished, right? And I do have young kids. I have 3 children. One just turned 15 and my youngest is not even 6 yet. He's almost 6. So it's a lot. I've got a lot in my everyday life and I have to look after myself. So I'm looking right now at quality over quantity and only doing the things that light me up, that give me energy, that feel like I'm making a difference in the world, because I literally cannot put out energy anymore to anything that drains me, whether it's in my personal life, professional life. I just can't. So I don't even really know what that means for my business moving forward. There is a lot, like I said it in the very beginning, literally, what am I doing with my life? What do I want out of this life experience? What really matters to me? What brings me joy? What brings me fulfillment? What makes me feel like I'm living my purpose and making a difference in the world, but in a way that is sustainable for me, sustainable for my body, because, we have to look after ourselves even when we've got big goals. And I'm really realizing that. So I just kind of wanted to say before we head into the episode, I know I've been a little bit away, things like Instagram, like I'm there and then all of a sudden I'm gone for a week, but that's just how I have to do things right now because I need to look after myself, my body, my healing journey, my family, all of it. Because, in the end, if we don't have our health, if we don't have ourself, we literally have nothing. And I did realize just maybe last week, the week before, that I do think I've been going through a dark night of the soul, which doesn't happen often in life, meaning we don't have a million of them in our life. We have a million upgrades and awakenings and breakthroughs and breakdowns and all that. But a dark night is something a little bit different. Maybe I'll do another episode about it coming up if you guys are interested. I have done episodes in the past about the dark night of the soul, but it's where things get really dark. And it has been really dark. There have been people in my life around me that have been concerned, just making sure that I'm okay, because things have gotten really heavy. And so if you relate to being an old soul or a starseed, or an HSP, highly sensitive person, empath, things can get really intense. And the starseed type woes are real. Like a little bit of this, what is the point of this human experience if we are struggling, if we are depleted, if we are exhausted? It's not the type of life that I want to live. And I'm here for so much more within myself and all of it. But this human experience is really seriously dense. And for sensitive people, for starseeds, for old souls, to be human it's almost like it turns out that's the biggest assignment of them all. Like, it's such a crazy experience. Talk about resistance, being human. We are confined to this body, first of all, with senses and, our physical shell, which is very limiting compared to our soul and our quantum self and our essence and all this stuff. It's like all of that gets funneled in and shoved into like this body that we need to operate through. And I deal with things like pain, and I know a lot of us do, right? And holding trauma in my body and all these different like layers of things. And it just sometimes it's just hard. It can be really, really hard. It's like to be in the pressures of the world, as Lao Tzu calls the physical experience, the world of the 10,000 things. And that's what it sometimes feels like. Like, oh my God, there's 10,000 things to focus on. There are the pressures of being human, of finances, of this, of that, the roles you play in your family and what's expected of you and your responsibilities and everything from like going to the dentist and paying taxes. And like, how do we stay on top of it all? That's my question. If you have an answer, please let me know. You can reach me in the show notes on Instagram or email. Please let me know the answer to life and how we can really actually do all that while, creating the life beyond our wildest dreams. And while maybe it's raising children or, moving up in a company or having a business, like how do we actually do it all and still maintain and sustain joy? Like that's the big question going on right now in my experience. And the closest answer I've come to, but I am actively going through it, it comes down to looking after ourselves. And I truly realized that I was not looking after myself. I was justifying putting my needs aside, not going for the walk, not going for the meditation, not asking for what I need. I really realized that because of just, whatever the reasons are, it doesn't even matter. But I was going to say, being a parent for so long and you just learn to kind of give yourself up or not put your needs to the top because I had literal babies that like, if a baby is hungry or they poop, like that comes before me wanting to make a Buddha bowl. Like you have to just act when you have a baby. And I feel like my brain clicked into that and then never unclicked, like never realized that I don't have to sacrifice myself for over a decade. Because what starts to happen with me and happens with a lot of us is we're doing that and then we start being almost resentful. And for me, it's not resentful toward my family or toward my kids or anything, because they're literally like healthy, bouncy, noisy kids because they're healthy and they're thriving. It's more life. And that's where it got really dark. It's like, why is this life so overwhelming? But again, what I've realized is I need to look after myself and put my nervous system, my health and wellness, whether it's mental, physical, all of that, right at the top of the pile. Of course, if I need to like cook dinner for my family or if someone hurts themselves, but my kids are getting older now to the point where I can go for a walk. I can do a workout. I can do a meditation. So now it's me and me. Me deciding that I'm worth it. Me deciding that my needs matter. Me deciding that going for a walk makes it to the top of the priority list right now. Over emails, over this, or feeling bad. But like, I can go around the block. I can do things that I haven't been doing because it's just like, oh, I don't have enough time. And oh, I don't have enough. And I'm like wasting away. Like there's a huge part of me that just has been feeling the last few months like I'm deflated, like I'm depleted, like I almost have nothing to give, which is, it kind of is scary. But again, what I'm taking away from this is I need to fill my own cup. Nobody's coming to save me. Nobody can do that for me. Because even my husband will be like, you should go for a walk or take some time for you. And I'm like, oh, but I have to do the, it's me sabotaging me, right? So like getting the memo, for any of you that are on Instagram, I've been sharing, I'm now going to yoga again once a week. I've spent hundreds and probably thousands, I don't know, of hours in yoga studios. And I just haven't the last couple of years. It's just, again, my needs, right? So we're on, I think, 4 weeks now in a row. And it's just the first day I walked in and I went to the washroom and I just went in the bathroom and cried, going like, I need this so bad. And I've just held on to that. So I have my yoga nights. I'm going on more walks. I went for a run the other day, taking more breaks for myself, meditating almost every single day, really consistently, and really just starting to pour back into myself because I matter. So that was a long-winded way of saying, if I'm not around sometimes, I'm just practicing being human, looking after myself. I still very much want to help and support and save the world and work with all the people I do, but I also have to look after myself because that is the healing journey, and I can't speak the healing journey without truly embodying it. And sometimes it gets hard, and sometimes I don't realize I'm burnt out until I'm already there, but that's what this life is. And I'm sure that at least some of you can relate to this. So okay, with all of that, the longest intro in the world, let's move on to today's episode because boy, do I want to talk about resistance. Okay, so take a sip of water, drop your shoulders, and let's dive in together. Okay, so let's just start straight up with what is resistance, okay? Because again, it's one of those words you hear a lot about, like you have to release resistance when you're manifesting, and people are like, yeah, like, wait, what? So let's break it down. Resistance is what I would say as, I'm going to use a lot of describing words so that you understand it by the end of this if it is unclear, but it's like friction between where you are and where you're going. So obviously the word resistance means its own thing. It is the same. But when we're talking about it in the context of self-growth or manifestation or healing or moving forward, it's the mental, emotional, energetic, it can be physical, like pushback is how I want to describe it, that comes up in your day-to-day life, especially when you're stretching beyond your current reality in the context of manifestation or healing or self-growth. It's like you're going above and beyond, but resistance is like when life is pushing back. Like you're trying to do something and like you're trying to make a post for your business and Instagram keeps crashing. Or every time you try to go for this thing, doubt or procrastination comes in. So resistance can be internal, like self-sabotage, doubt, procrastination, as I'm saying, fear, the voice saying, who do you think you are inside your mind, right? That internal resistance where you almost don't let yourself go for it. So maybe you're trying to eat healthier or, go for more walks and move your body. But as soon as you go to do it, for me, the resistance was like, it's not worth it. I don't even think I thought the words, it's not worth it. I would just go like, oh, I can't, I have an email, or, oh, I can't, my kids need this, or, oh, I can't. And that is like, at the end of the day, I go like, oh, I want to go for a walk, but like, I'm just not able to. That's resistance. If there wasn't resistance, I would just easily go for a walk, like easy, clear energy. Like, hey, kids, gonna go for a walk. I'll be back in 15. I have my phone if anything goes wrong. Okay, cool. See ya. That could be a no resistance walk. But say you're going to go for a walk and then again, the mental games come in, or as soon as you go to step out the door, like somebody drops something and it spills and you have to come back in and wipe this thing up. And then you realize like the dog is hungry, and then you go out again and then like your partner or friend calls. It's like, I need to talk to you right now. And you're like, oh my God, like I'm just trying to go for a walk. That's resistance. So again, it can be internal in your mind. It can be external, like technology glitching, not letting you do the thing you want to do, plans falling apart, people canceling, unexpected bills when you're trying to make more money, right? Things just not happening easily. Or it can be energetic when you feel drained every time you think about doing something, or your body tightening up, or you get anxiety, right? Or it can just be, again, like it feels like life is like nothing's working out. Maybe you're making plans and then life, has this where now you can't do it on this weekend. And then you're like, and then you're trying to do it over here. And then it's like, now this person canceled. And you're like, again, it can be just an energy in general of things stopping you from doing what you say you want, doing things that are on your mind's eye, your goals, the things that you want to move into. So resistance, when it's internal, a lot of times it's your nervous system saying, this is new, this is scary, I'm not sure if it's safe. So when I'm trying to go for a walk, and that's my healing work showing, when I'm trying to go for a walk, but I'm like, oh no, I gotta, wipe the kitchen counter. And then I'm like, oh, I said I would put on laundry. And it's just really stuff that, yes, I need to do it, but I could just go for a walk if I didn't have that resistance. That's part of my healing work. That's part of me honoring my needs, me making sure or me realizing my needs matter, making sure that I'm meeting my own needs, basically. So that's my nervous system going like, but we don't know yet that our needs matter. But the old habit is to put myself last. So we're just going to continue that. So in that case of resistance, it's actually in some ways an invitation for me to step forward into my healing. Sometimes it can be life redirecting you when something's not aligned. So for me in my business, if I'm trying to do like an Instagram post or an email and my technology is glitching, Instagram does this a lot. And I've just gone through, I still don't know why, a massive technology thing I'll share as we go on with my computer, like in every worst way. But anyway, if I'm trying to post and it's not working, my post isn't working, Instagram keeps crashing, I just stop. And I know that I'm not supposed to do this right now. I'll just stop and go, okay, life clearly doesn't want me. And sometimes it'll be because I'm sitting outside and I'm on my phone and I feel like life just wants me to enjoy this moment, put my face to the sun, be in the present moment. And then in 15 minutes, that will be the time to do the post. That will be the time to work. Sometimes it's like I'm trying to do too many things. So again, learning to discern, learning to read it, but that can also be what's happening is life redirecting you. But either way, it's an invitation to slow down and check in. Is this an edge I need to lean into or a redirection that I need to honor? What do I really need right now? And we'll get more into that. So more about my own resistance. If you hear kids, you just probably heard a little screech. If you hear kids or my husband playing Pink Pony Club on his guitar, we have a full house. It's summer. He needs to learn that song for a wedding he's doing. The kids are running around like wild monkeys. It is what it is. Okay, so more about my own resistance and what's been going on. So my app, The Path, it's the most amazing app in the world. So I couldn't get in like a week ago. I just could not get in. I won't go into all the technical details, but I enter all my information to log into the back end of the app, like the developer part, like the part where I'm uploading content. And it just wouldn't. It would redirect and it would crash and it would say, clear your cookies and all this stuff. And I went through everything. I cleared my cookies, cleared my cache, cleared my browsing history. I upgraded, what is it called? I don't know. Upgraded my browser. I got the newest edition. I realized that even the browser couldn't upload or update to the fullest because my operating system on my Mac was a few years old and there was a new one. So I actually updated my entire operating system because it was talking about how when this happens, it could be because of my browser history, my cache, my this, my that. So they're saying, try on a new browser. I'm downloading Firefox. I'm doing all this stuff. Nothing is working. Days and days are going by. I start reaching out to the app company, like the people who host it, and, saying, this is happening. We're doing screenshots. I'm going into the back end code of the website to try to get in from a different way. And they're trying to duplicate. And it was like this whole thing for over a week. I could not get into the back end, which sucked because I had awesome things to upload. But I kept saying to myself, okay, there's literally nothing I can do except what can I do? Let's write the guy, okay, or write the company. And then I started talking to somebody who was helping me. What can I do? What I can try to do this. But nothing was working. So I had a few days where that's what I was doing app stuff. And I'm trying to get it working. Full work days are now taken up by this stupid problem of not being able to get in. So after all of the updating and upgrading and all that stuff, yesterday at the time of recording, I was finally able to get back into the app. And it was totally, I don't know if it was the moon or they did something, but all of a sudden it was working. Even the guy that was helping me was like, I have no idea. I'm like, I know, right? So I'm going through all this as I'm sharing. I'm going through the dark night. I'm going through the healing. I'm going through all this stuff. So I'm asking myself, like, what is this showing me? Well, there's nothing I can do. So until I figure this out, I need to just let go. I need to have trust and faith and, trust the process. So yesterday I get in and I'm like, finally, I'm in. Yesterday was a work day. I've had many work days recently canceled and thrown sideways. I've had birthdays. I've had my husband's work. I've had everything where my schedule's not consistent. Everything is all over the place, driving me nuts. But I finally went to record and I was going to record this. I go into my recording software that I have used for almost 5 years and it won't open. It just won't open. It opens and crashes. And I realized that because I updated my software, if any of you guys know, the downward spiral of like a phone or a computer, this computer isn't even that old, but for a computer, it's getting there. Because I upgraded the operating software, now my GarageBand won't work with it. So now it just won't open. And it's like, I'm sitting here going, so now I can't even record. Like I don't even have recording software. I don't have my intro. I don't have my outro. I don't have anything. I have nothing to plug my mic into, no software. And I'm going, oh my gosh. So then I'm like looking online for alternatives because it just was not working. And I'm so tired of resistance. Every time I'm trying to do something, it's just not working. So I am looking all around. So I find this other program that I could download and use. But like literally it feels like it's software from like 1980. Like it's all scritchy and it just doesn't work with my energy. And it's almost too complex that it's really hard to work with. But in some ways, like all the fonts and all the colors look like when computers like originally, like it's borderline like the yellow and black, if anyone even remembers that. It just feels so old. And so yesterday I spent basically the day realizing I couldn't record on that one, downloading a new one and trying to learn a new software, which like I'm really good with technology. I've had a lot of experience with this stuff, but still it took hours and hours and hours. And so by the time I went to record, I was supposed to do a completely different episode, which I'll drop like next week or something. It's an awesome topic, but I was just not feeling it. It was too happy. It was too high vibe. I was not feeling it. So I'm like, I'm going to talk about resistance because that was loaded up, ready to go too. I was going to record this. But I was in so much of it that by the time I'm like hungry, I've spent all day trying to work this crap out. And finally I go to try to record and I was in too much resistance. I couldn't. So I don't know why I told you all of that, but these are examples on how there are seasons where it feels like nothing works. And that could be a day, that could be a week, that could be sometimes in my business. You guys, at the end of 2024, I let go of all that stuff, all the group programs and all the workshops and because it was partly this. It was like I am pouring out and out and out for not enough return. And I don't just mean money. I actually mean it just wasn't aligned. So the energy was uneven. It didn't light me up enough. There weren't enough people stoked about it, and the content and teaching it and everything was just starting to feel off. So I had to just let everything go. And that's what we need to understand is sometimes there are times when nothing works. And again, a day, a week, a month, a year, whatever. And we need to start to let go. We need to reevaluate what is going on. So with this app glitching and the recording software crashing right before recording the episode, I literally learning a new program while I've got very few work days. So I need this time. I can't just spend 7 hours trying to figure something out. This is literally resistance. If this is the definition of resistance, it's like nothing working. So what I did yesterday is when I realized I was trying to record and it just wasn't working, I stopped. I went to my foam roller. I went for a walk and I had dinner with my family and just put everything down, knowing that tomorrow I would come back and I would feel better. So today I'm back. I'm not out of my dark night, but I definitely feel better than yesterday. It's also funny with the technology. I'll just say last night I had my phone plugged in and then my husband was doing some music stuff and I got into watching a YouTube video. I probably watched it, no shame, for like 45 minutes. My phone battery said 100%, even though it wasn't plugged in. And I'm looking at it going like, I told my husband, Mercury's not in retrograde, I'm in retrograde. So I am literally in retrograde. I don't know what's happening right now. But after watching YouTube for like almost an hour, my phone's still at 100%. So then me and my husband spend the evening together. We're having tea, we're blah, blah, blah. And then when I go to bed, I check, it's still at 100%. I'm like, it's now been unplugged for like 4 hours. I've watched like almost an hour of YouTube. It's been sitting there. How is it at 100%? This morning I wake up, it still says 100%. And I'm like, what is going on with technology and me? So then I go to have a shower. My phone's out, obviously, of the shower, but it's in the bathroom. And I get out and my phone's dead and will not turn on at all. And I'm like, okay, so it wasn't at 100%. It was probably going down and down and down, but the glitch was in it saying it's 100%. My phone's not even 2 years old. Anyway, I'm in retrograde. So let's continue on with this episode. I'm sorry for all the storytelling. So all of this that's going on, when nothing feels aligned, I need to just let go, gather a new perspective, reevaluate what direction I want to go in, where I want to put my energy, what I'm willing to feel and pour my energy into right now. And resistance doesn't mean you're failing, and it doesn't mean you're completely off path, but it does mean that something is asking for your attention. Something is saying there's something here for you. So if everything is glitching, the best thing I could do is actually let go. Maybe put on my resourceful hat for a little bit and I was writing the app company and getting help. I'm not just completely shutting down. But sometimes there's nothing we can do. Or you're on your way to work and there's just red light after red light after red light. We gotta just let go, drop the shoulders, exhale it out, even roar it out this is frustrating, but I just need to let it go. And if we're in the car and it looks like we're going to start to be late, just call your boss or text them or something saying, I've hit traffic. It is what it is, right? But there's not more that can be done when we're in resistance. So resistance is that friction that's coming up, right? And resistance is not bad. Resistance is often a strengthening. There's a couple things. It could be a strengthening, that it's helping you to build capacity. When I launched my retreat, oh my gosh, so scary, but then things kept clicking into place. So the resistance, and if any of you have been listening, it's been a time leading up to being able to host the retreat. I had to go through my own healing of community and all these other things because I had so much resistance. I wanted to do the retreat, but I didn't see myself as that. I couldn't let people in. I was scared. I was scared that whatever it was. So it was a strengthening. And then even when I launched it, I was so scared. I was so nervous. I was shaking, but then things kept clicking. And somebody right away registered. And then somebody else got a VIP spot. And then some of the people that are involved in the retreat, in the support of it, the different moving pieces, things kept clicking into place. So in some ways, there was resistance inside me that was a strengthening. But on the outside, things were clicking. That resistance is stretching me. The inside, oh my God, can I do this? Can I do this? And making the initial deposit and, really committing. That was scary, but it was a strengthening. And then after that, things really started clicking and now it's almost full, which is so exciting. So the other thing it could be is a spiritual assignment. Life can be saying, before you get what you want, you have to look at this first. So when I am trying to create, but I'm my body hurts and I'm another episode, but I've been standing all day or sitting all day and I really need to go for a walk, look after myself, basically what I've been going through, stuff started becoming filled with so much resistance. Everything I was doing felt scritchy and off and yucky, and I'm still going through it, but that's a spiritual assignment. Before you can move forward, there's something you need to look at first. Are you neglecting yourself? Are you neglecting your truth? Are you ignoring something deep down? Are you sacrificing yourself? There's something to see/heal here before we can move forward. So that's sometimes when we're like, I don't know what's blocking me. I would look at, is there something here that taps on the healing work? Is there something I'm not completely showing up for because of that? So it could be a spiritual assignment. It can also be a spiritual assignment of faith and trust. If it's just something sort of simple and like nothing's working, just let it all go and go, you know what? It's not the time. I'm going to strengthen my relationship to life and go, okay, it's not the time. What else can I do? Because sometimes I'm trying to be creative and I just don't feel it. Or I'm trying to do something to do with money or bill paying, but I'm already stressed. And it's like, no, okay, stop, reorient your energy, and then come back. So it can be an assignment in that way, saying like, no, there's something to look at here first. Or it can be also a redirection. Roadblocks are detours in the right direction. So often this is the majority of the time when there's resistance. It's not a no forever or a no in totality. It's not this way. It could be your strategy. It could be your energy, right? So often when there's so much resistance, it's a redirection. And I would ask yourself, where is this detour taking me? This isn't a roadblock. It's a detour in the right direction. So where could this be guiding me? So how to start knowing the difference is resistance is here because you're growing, but it also can be here because you're out of alignment. So this is what we want to kind of discern. Not even out of alignment, but the redirection, right? How do I know when it's like a healing thing or when it's just like, nope, change your strategy a little bit, right? So when it feels challenging but expansive, keep going. You're building strength. When it feels chaotic, draining, or on a gut level wrong or incorrect, I don't mean wrong like morally, but like something is off, that's when we pause, something needs to shift. So when it feels challenging but expansive, keep going. When you're just wanting to kind of avoid or, procrastinate or whatever, that's expanding you. But when it feels chaotic, draining, or gut instinct on your heart, it feels wrong, that's a pause or something needs to shift. And this is where the discernment comes in. And the discernment happens when we slow down enough to listen, when we slow down enough to ask ourselves. Okay, so I'm going to talk about now what to do when we're experiencing resistance. So again, if it's kind of just chaotic and frustrating and just pause, back up, do something else for a minute, have a shower, go for a walk, and ask yourself, okay, where is this taking me? What needs to shift? Or if it's really challenging, but it's expansive, that's when you need to keep going. When the resistance almost feels like it's just trying to I see almost like a warrior or something, like it's obstacles. It's like a video game, like beat the obstacles, get around the obstacles. That's sometimes what it feels like. It's like, I've got this, right? Maybe you're doing an event or you're doing something and problems come up and you're putting out fires. Like that's good. Keep going, build strength. But when it feels off, draining, gut level wrong, scritchy, that's when we need to pause because something is off. So this is the tool, before we wrap up, that I want to talk about to release resistance instantly. I apologize, this has been a bit of a longer episode. I got off on story time and all those things, but here we are. So when you feel resistance, pause and say to yourself, okay, whether it's the computer or you keep shutting down and you don't know, quote unquote, what's wrong with you. When we go like, what's wrong with me? Why can't I? Right? When we feel resistance, pause and say to yourself, I meet this resistance with non-resistance. I allow this to be here. And then we can follow up by saying, what is this trying to teach me? Or what needs to happen from here? Take a deep breath in. Feel into your body. Don't label it as wrong. Instead, get curious. When we see the resistance, whether it's Instagram glitching or a major life thing, when we see the resistance and we say, it is here, so I'm going to meet it with non-resistance, because that's what we do. We see the resistance and we meet it with resistance. Why is this not working? Why is this? I'm so frustrated. We're resisting the resistance. I know, right? It gets so freaking deep. But when we meet our resistance with non-resistance, we allow it to be here. We say, okay, that life feels like it's trying to stop me, or I keep procrastinating. I'm just going to allow that to be here. Take a deep breath. What is this trying to teach me? What needs to happen from here? What does my future self, my inner being, God, source, spirit team, grandma in heaven, what are they encouraging me to do? Where is this resistance coming from? And sometimes it's literally like, be on your walk and be present. The app's going to work when you get home, when it's time to Instagram. But for now, be present. Often that's what life is getting you to do. Look up, be present. Try this again in 15 minutes, in half an hour. What is this resistance trying to teach me? You meet your resistance with non-resistance, and all of a sudden there's no resistance. If this was like a drinking game where every time I said resistance, you would drink, you'd be drunk. Okay. So we need to feel it in our body in the present moment. Take a breath. Don't label it as wrong. Get curious. This simple shift brings you from fighting it to flow. Because even if nothing is going right, and you release the resistance, you go like, okay, I'm open to creative solutions. And then you might get an idea like, hey, I could do this. Or like, hey, I could do that, right? The simple shift brings you from fighting it into allowing it. That is when solutions come. And sometimes I say exactly that. I am open to creative solutions. That puts you in non-resistance. Okay, I'm not exercising and I want to, but I can never find the time. What is this telling me? Or no matter what I do in my business, I'm not getting any, clients, or nobody's buying my art, or nobody's hiring me for the job. Okay, stop, breathe. What could this be showing me? Do we need to update the resume? Do we need to come at the marketing a little bit different? Do we need to reach out to warm leads? What can we do? That brings you from panic to power, from stuck to spaciousness. And if all else fails, just pause and have a nap, physically or metaphorically. Go do something else. Clean your house, go for a walk, go to the museum, do some art, climb a tree, feed your fish, do whatever else and come back at it from a different energy. Resistance is not your enemy, and it's not telling you you're doing it wrong. It's an initiation into that next level. It's strengthening your resolve. It's getting you to see what you have not seen. You are absolutely not broken or on the wrong path in any way when resistance is coming up. You're being built. You're being sculpted. Built for more capacity, more alignment, more magnetism. So I hope that this resonated with you today. And if you're craving tools and support and guidance for navigating resistance like this, I highly recommend the app. Don't worry, we're back online. By the way, it worked for the public the whole time. It just didn't work for me on the back end. But the Path app is your daily recalibration space, from audios, meditation, sleep audios, movements, articles, journal prompts. It's got all of it, and it's there for you, for the messy moments, for the doubt, but also for the magic. And if you're really looking to return to the most magnetic version, to remember who you truly are, the retreat. It's coming up in September, the 19th to 22nd. Join me on Vancouver Island. I'll put the link below. We are filling up. Now is definitely the time. And I can't wait to see you there and hug in person and connect and heal and be and rest and expand. It's going to be so good. I also have 2-month mentorship starting in September. I'm only taking a few people at a time. So that's for those who are ready to bridge the gap between where you are now and what you deeply desire. With the healing, with the aligned strategy, and the support, I am here for you. All right, I'll put all of this in the show notes, and I will see you in the next episode.